Robert Frost once famously said, "We love the things we love for what they are." Yes, we do. Whether it is the echoes asking the shadows to dance or the joys of gorgeous expression, stories of you and me, rendered in verse or song. Namaste and good evening. We warmly welcome you all to the second chapter of the Grade 11 Performance Poetry Night. Before we begin, we request you to put your mobile phones on silent mode. कर्मण्ये वाधिकारस्ते मा फलेषु कदाचन. कर्मण्ये वाधिकारस्ते मा फलेषु कदाचन. This is the opening line of one of the most famous verses of Srimad Bhagavad Gita and is often hailed as its essence. Srimad Bhagavad Gita translates into Song of the Divine and is part of the great epic Mahabharata. The 700 verses of Gita urge the seeker to act, to perform one's duty in the world and yet remain free from the consequences of one's action. Wait, does that sound too good to be true? Ayush Ranpara and Anuj Sidpura will perform a poem on Srimad Bhagavad Gita showcasing its beauty and wisdom. The poem is written by our fellow student, Darshan Parmar. Let us sit back and relax, allow the power of the Gita to uplift us as we witness their performance.
महाभारतથી છાઈ હુઈ રણભૂમિથી શાંત પડી. મહાભારતથી છાઈ હુઈ રણભૂમિથી શાંત પડી. ધર્મક્ષેત્રે કુરુક્ષેત્રે લડાઈ બડીથી સ્થાયી હુઈ. લડાઈ બડીથી સ્થાયી હુઈ. ભીષણ સમર શંખનાદ हुआ, अर्जुन को भी ज्ञात हुआ. ये नहीं है शत्रु सारे, सभी तो स्वजन हमारे. छोड़ा धनुष, छोड़ा कवच, छोड़ा लड़ने का कर्तव्य. सामने खुद के अपनों को देख, अर्जुन का मोह गया द्रव्य द्रव्य. सामने खुद के अपनों को देख, अर्जुन का मोह गया द्रव्य द्रव्य.
अर्जुन को ऐसे भटकते देख हरि को बड़ा अचरज हुआ कि मेरा परम भक्त अर्जुन भला इतना कैसे मोहित हुआ. बोले, दुनिया को परम ज्ञान दूंगा, शिक्षा का परम ध्यान दूंगा. जिस ज्ञान से जीवन जगमग होगा, सारी सृष्टि पर सारक होगा. जिसे सुनकर सब जाएंगे जीत, कहलाएगा ये मेरा भगवान का गीत. कहलाएगा ये मेरा भगवान का गीत. एक पल में ही कुरुक्षेत्र को पुण्य क्षेत्र बना दिया. अधर्मियों के कुचक्र में धर्म का अखंड द्वीप जला दिया. एक क्षण में ही महाभारत को गीता से है सजा दिया. केवल एक ही क्षण में श्री हरि ने गीता से है सजा दिया. कहा, तुम कायर बनकर बैठे हो पार्थ, ये बड़ी बेशर्मी है. तुम कायर बनकर बैठे हो पार्थ, ये बड़ी बेशर्मी है. संबंध उन्हीं से निभा रहे हो जो लोग यहाँ धर्मी है. धर्म के ऊपर आज भारी संकट है खड़ा हुआ और तेरा गांडीव पार्थ रथ के कोने में पड़ा हुआ. इतना कहकर श्री हरि ने अर्जुन की आत्मा को हिला दिया. इतना कहकर हरि ने अपना स्वरूप विस्तार किया. बोले, यहाँ देख गगन भी लहे मुझ में, यहाँ देख पानी भी लहे मुझ में. अंबर में कुंतल झाल देख, मेरे पद के नीचे पाताल देख. मुट्ठी में तीनों काल देख, मुझ में तू महाकाल देख. मुझ में अखिल ब्रह्मांड देख, मुझ में विश्व सागर देख. मुझ में सारा जंजाल देख, मेरा स्वरूप विकराल देख. मेरा स्वरूप विकराल देख.
हम जैसे जीवों की केवल एक ही है ये लाथी. जो माने कृष्ण में वही है समझदार साथी. वही है समझदार साथी. कौन है ये कृष्ण, भला कौन है ये कृष्ण? विश्व ज्ञाता वेद विदाता, अब इनसे भला क्या छुपाए? यशोदानंदन कुंज बिहारी मोहन लीला रचते हैं. सबको विचलित ये करते जाए, सबको सीख सिखाते जाए. गणेश से लेकर महेश से लेकर सूर्य भी जिनको पूजते हैं, ऐसे श्री हरि कुरुक्षेत्र में जगत गुरु बन खूब सजते हैं.
गीता सुनाकर श्री कृष्ण ने अर्जुन के मन को पावन किया. श्री कृष्ण से गीता ज्ञान लेकर अर्जुन ने अमृत पान किया और इसी ज्ञान से प्रकाशित होकर अर्जुन का विश्वास फूल उठा. अपने नाथ की बातें सुनकर अर्जुन पार्थ का कलेजा फूल उठा. सीधा रथ से खड़ा हुआ, गुरु को क्षत दंडवत किया. जोर जोर से कहा, फिर बारंबार पार्थ दोहराया. बारंबार यहीं दोहराया, बारंबार यहीं दोहराया.
पार्थ बोले, हे कृष्णा, गीता सुनाकर इस पूरे जग को आपने तारा है. ये सच है कि ये पूरा जग भी आप में समाया है. कृष्णा, प्रेमी जीवों का एकमात्र सहारा है. कली काल की लहरों से बचने का यह एकमात्र किनारा है. क्योंकि यह कलयुग है जी, कलयुग है. यह लोग लोग को मारेंगे, एक दूसरे को मार मार कर फिर वही मांसिए खाएंगे. हिंसा अधर्म फैलेगा, विकराल काल मुंह खोलेगा. भाई भाई पर टूटेंगे, भाग्य मनुष्य पे फूटेंगे. विष बाण बूंद से छूटेंगे, इंसान इंसान को लूटेंगे. चारों ओर असत्य अधर्म, चारों ओर कपट ही कपट, ऐसा घोर कलयुग आएगा, ऐसा घोर कलयुग आएगा।
अब भी समय है, सुधर जाओ, श्री कृष्ण का नाम लेते जाओ, केवल कृष्ण ही आपको उतार सकते हैं, केवल कृष्ण ही आपको उतार सकते हैं।
धन्यवाद।
Thank you, Ayush and Anuj.
अकेली हूँ अधूरी नहीं is a powerful poem which suggests that your life is yours. It talks about the societal beliefs about a single woman. She might be alone, but is not incomplete. The society tends to forget that women are born complete. Neither kids nor marriage can complete them. Bhumika Parmar and Ashna Galani present Haley Shah's poem, Akeli Hoon, Adhuri Nahi.
Dear society, no one asks a girl, what do you want to be when you grow up? Because the want and the question mark are often set aside along with her dreams. Girls are often told when they are only 10 years old that when you grow up, you will be married. Married off to a man who will shower you with all his love and gold. And the day you meet that someone, you will be whole.
मानो एक औरत की पहचान किसी शीशे की तरह परछाई बनकर रहने में हो, आवाज उठाकर अपनी ख्वाहिश कहने में नहीं।
I have spent all my life searching for the missing piece to my puzzle. Like Cinderella's glass shoe, I have been told to squeeze into someone else's family picture.
लेकिन अगर सपने देखना गलत नहीं तो उन्हें पूरा करने से मैं क्यों डरूं?
अपनी कहानी में लीड बनने के लिए किसी हीरो का इंतजार क्यों करूं? तो क्या हुआ अगर मेरे लिए घर बसाना जरूरी नहीं? हाँ, मैं अकेली हूँ मगर अधूरी नहीं।
Dear uncle, if you want to see me happy, stop worrying about finding a well-settled boy with a bank balance, a car and a family. Maybe I will have all three without trading it for my body.
Dear auntie, don't ask my mother when will I get married. Ask me if I want to and I will tell you that settling down for me is to never settle down. And if I ever marry, it would be for the right reason, love.
आज भी अरमानों की अर्थियों पर ना जाने कितनी डोलियां उठती है, औरत बनने में ना जाने कितनी नादानियां मिटती है, लेकिन अब हमें अपनी कोशिश पर नाज है। बैंड बाजे से भी ज़्यादा ये बुलंदी आवाज़ है। तो क्या हुआ जो दुनिया और मेरे बीच मंजूरी नहीं? हाँ, मैं अकेली हूँ मगर अधूरी नहीं।
My body is not mural for your moral code. I will not let the sindoor shackle me to a household.
अपने गले पर अगर मंगलसूत्र पहन सकती हूँ तो गोल्ड मेडल भी, और इसके लिए तो मेरे नाम के आगे मिसेस लगाना भी ज़रूरी नहीं।
If you care so much for my fertility, why do you shame my sexuality?
अगर मेरी खुशी चाहते हो तो ये मिसोजिनी वाला चश्मा क्यों नहीं हटाते हो?
I was told that marriage is not a milestone, but the last leg of my journey, marriage. Not a page, but the true purpose of my story.
But I will not be limited by your limitations or bound by your broken belief systems. So, step aside and let me be free, because the only thing that completes me is my journey. तो क्या हुआ जो दुनिया की नज़रों में मैं पूरी नहीं?
हाँ, मैं अकेली हूँ मगर अधूरी नहीं।
Thank you, Ashna and Bhumika.
In childhood, life is like a fairy tale, but as we get older, the realities of life overpower and dismantle those fairy tales. So every once in a while, take a moment to step back and smile. Tanisha Pamba will bring to us the magic of words and take us back to our childhood in her performance, Counting Stars by Suhani Shah.
Balloons. I have always loved balloons. They remind me of my childhood. You know, when the days were light and the nights were like fairy tale. thoughts were limitless. The world seemed fair. Everyone was a friend. No sorrows knocked at the door. There was always time for more happiness. No dream was too big to try. We believed we could fly. The moon chased our cars, and we enjoyed counting the stars. But as life goes by, we stop being that child. Our everyday dreams are no longer that wild. The world quickly goes by as we keep getting old. And now our thoughts revolve around competition, riches, and goals. Getting by isn't simple anymore. An easy life is an age-old folklore. It feels like every next moment wants to see us fail. That's when we realize life is no longer a fairy tale. The race to success tends to take up most of our time, and to spend for our own leisure is considered the biggest crime. And just to feel good, we tell ourselves, happiness is free. But deep down we all know that everything comes for a price, you see. In family, friends, and love, we find a happy place. But then reality again hits us in the face. Because with time, be it our friends, our dog, or our first lover, all tend to go away to make us realize that nothing lasts forever. But if it wasn't for all this pain, agony, and strife, an integral part of our life would be missing. Because without this suffering, there would be no happy ending to the story. Without the struggle, we couldn't enjoy the glory. So, every once in a while, take a moment and smile. We don't have to let go our inner child, because the moon is still chasing our cars, and the sky is waiting for you and me to count the stars. Thank you.
Thank you, Tanisha.
Twilight and evening bell, and after that, the dark. And may there be no sadness when I embark. Everyone will one day have to leave their loved ones behind and journey into the infinity beyond time and space. But what about those who are left behind, bewildered and inconsolable? Our next performance is based on a poem written to soothe and strengthen those who will grieve when the poet passes. Please welcome Samia Kamani to perform If Tomorrow Starts Without Me, written by David Romano.
If tomorrow starts without me, if tomorrow starts without me, and I'm not here to see, if the sun should rise and find your eyes all filled with tears for me, I wish so much you wouldn't cry the way you did today. While thinking of many things we didn't get to say, I know how much you love me as much as I love you. And each time that you think of me, I know you'll miss me too. But when tomorrow starts without me, please try and understand that an angel came, called my name, and took me by my hand. He said my place was ready in heaven far above, and that I had to leave behind all those I dearly love. As I turned and walked away, a tear fell from my eye. For all my life, I'd always thought I didn't want to die.
I had so much to live for, so much left yet to do. It seemed almost impossible that I was leaving you. I thought of all the yesterdays, the good ones and the bad. I thought of all the love we shared and all the fun we had. If I could relive yesterday, just even for a while, I'd say goodbye and kiss you and maybe see you smile. But then I fully realized that this could never be. For emptiness and memories would take place of me. I thought of worldly things that I might miss come tomorrow. And when I thought of you, my heart was filled with sorrow. As I walked through heaven gates, I felt so much at home. God looked down and smiled at me from his great golden throne. He said, "This is eternity and all I have promised you. Your life on earth has passed, but your life starts anew. I promise no tomorrow, but today will always last. And since each day is the same, there is no longing for the past. You have been so faithful, so trusting, so true. Though there were times you did things you knew you shouldn't do. You have been forgiven and at last now you're free. So won't you come and take my hand and share my life with me? So when tomorrow starts without me, don't think we are far apart. For every time you think of me, I'm right here in your heart. For every time you think of me, I'm right here in your heart. Thank you."
Thank you, Samya. Certain things are only revealed to you when you have experienced a half-baked love. And when that occurs, the world sometimes seems to end instantly, while at other times, it mends a person and brings them face to face with their authentic self. As this beautiful evening of words proceeds, let me invite Dhruvi Sureja and Viva Vora to present a self-written piece by Dhruvi called Mended by Love, a hymn to the beautiful emotion which the world runs on.
I bet that there's nothing bigger than Bollywood's first glance of a girl walking by. When the wind is blowing, teasing her hair, and she's unaware of her beauty, unaware that the world around her had turned grey monochrome. When in the middle of the class, her eyes meet the boy's eyes, and the song begins. "O aankhon mein teri अजब सी अदाएं हैं."
From the majestic world of Yashraj, where SRK spreads his arm in Sarso Ka Khet, to the ever so dreamy Dharma lands, we have lived our lives as romantics.
It was a cold Christmas morning on my way to school when I too began romanticizing the idea of first love. And as I hurried towards my class, I collided with him in a hallway.
The moment I saw him, I knew my favorite flower had to be
Dandelion, and my favorite song had to be
I would never fall in love again until I found you. And I imagine
dancing in the dark with you between my arms, barefoot on the grass, listening to our favorite song. I looked into his eyes and all I could think of is Taylor Swift singing,
ocean blue eyes looking in mine. I feel like I might sink and drown and die.
It just felt as if he was the breathing poetry I wrote about. I'd fight Aries if it means he would stay, because it wasn't love at first sight. It was love in every sight I took.
इस I love you के ज़माने में I knew that he was the someone who'd say
मुझे आपसे बेइंतहा मोहब्बत है. It was that one moment जब सब कुछ सुन हो गया और मैंने मेरे शरीर की धड़कन सुनी. मेरे जिस्म की थरथराहट, लफ्ज़ में चटपटाहट, आँखों में दबदबाहट और दिमाग में निरंतर झंझनाहट और सब कुछ शून्य।
He smiled at me, and I could feel the stars of his cosmic energy messing up with mine. I wanted to stay there with him, but I knew he was in a hurry, and even I was. And even if I deny myself a million times as well, but he left his fragrance on me and took my heart with him. He promised to meet me.
The days passed by, from spring to summer to autumn to winter, and I kept waiting. I told my heart it was better to move on than be stuck in a hallway where he and I collided. But I knew he would show up knocking on my heart just as he did the first time. But he didn't.
People told me to stop looking for that spark and that not everyone finds their true soulmate. But I never heard them because I knew that love is eternal.
Love is serendipity.
And what a powerful narrative love could be.
Just like how Shah Jahan is buried with Mumtaz.
Radha Krishna's love is still immortal and has no beginnings and no ends. And it is that lovers die, but their love always lives and it prevails.
So, to the hallway boy, अगर ज़िंदगी इम्तिहान लेने पे आ जाती तो तुम मेरे सबसे खूबसूरत इम्तिहान थे, यकीनन सबसे खूबसूरत इम्तिहान। पर तुम हो और तुम्हारा होना ही एक खूबसूरत सा धोखा कह लो या जो नाम दे लो।
मगर मैं यह सोचने में गलत थी कि किसी के प्यार में होने का मतलब उन्हें कभी जाने नहीं देना है, क्योंकि मेरे हर सवाल के जवाब जैसे तुम हो और यह जवाब मुझे बहुत अजीज़ है। तुम मेरे हो सकोगे उससे अब मुझे कोई फ़र्क नहीं पड़ता, क्योंकि तुमने मुझसे मिलाया है।
Today I found the girl that people had buried, the girl who'd love to write, dance and sing. You have made me meet myself again.
Just like Peter Kavinsky and Lara Jean were each other's beginning, middle, and end. Even you are my beginning, middle, and end. Just like Peter embraced Lara Jean's cuteness and showered her with love on days when she had doubted herself. Even you have made me reunite with myself and made sure that I never felt like an outcast.
And now you know what love is, and it is him. In a poetic version, I wrote about. In a poetic version, I wrote about. Thank you.
Thank you, Dhruvi and Viva.
True love is vulnerable and raw, scary yet courageous, and always something utterly beautiful, heart-fluttering and warm. Love Poem Medley by Rudy Francisco is a piece that epitomizes the beauty of finding somebody that you love with all your heart. I invite Dyuti Cheta, Grishma Nathwani, and Khushi Khan, accompanied by Dhyana Buch on the guitar, to the stage to perform this piece.
To the girl who works at Starbucks down the street from my house on Delmar Heights Road, I swear to God, I'm not a stalker. That's the title. When I asked you for a chai latte, what I meant to say was, I was walking past. I saw you in the window. To be honest, I only came in here because I had to know what your voice sounded like.
But instead of saying that, I got really nervous and just ordered the first thing of the menu. I don't even know what chai is, or a latte for that matter.
I imagine
that when God made you, I bet he cursed for the first time. I bet he turned to an angel, gave him a high five, said, God damn, I'm good. Or me damn, I'm good. Because he's like the God, right?
I spent the last 5 days trying to figure out how I'm going to introduce myself to you properly, and I think I've finally figured it out. It's going to be something like, hi. That's all I got so far, but I think it's a good start.
I'm gonna be honest, it's not often that I find myself eager to write about love. In fact, every time I try to write about love, my hands cramp just to show me how painful love can be. Sometimes my pencils break just to prove to me that every now and then, love takes a little more work than you planned.
I heard that love is blind. So I write all my poems in Braille. And my poems are never actually finished because true love is endless. I always believed that real love is kind of like a supermodel before she's airbrushed. It's pure and imperfect, just the way that God intended.
I'm gonna be honest, I'm not much of a love poet, but if I was to wake up tomorrow morning and decide that I was going to write about love, my first poem, it would be about you. About how I loved you the same way I learned how to ride a bike. Scared, but reckless. With no training wheels or elbow pads so my scars can tell the story of how I fell for you.
You see,
I'm not much of a love poet,
But if I was, I'd write about how I see your face in every cloudy reflection in every window. You see, I've written 1,000,000 poems, hoping that somehow, maybe some way, you'll jump out of the page and be closer to me.
See, I'm not much of a love poet,
but if I was, I would write about how you have the audacity to be beautiful even on the days when everything around you is ugly. I would write about your eyelashes and how they are like violin strings that play symphonies every time you blink.
If I was a love poet, I'd write about how I melt in front of you like an ice sculpture every time I hear the vibration in your voice. And whenever I see your name on the caller ID, my heart,
it plays hopscotch inside of my chest. It climbs onto my ribs like monkey bars, and I feel like a child all over again.
And I know this is going to sound weird, but sometimes I pray that God somehow turns you back into one of my ribs, just so I would never have to spend an entire day without you.
I swear I'm usually not a love poet, but if I was to wake up tomorrow morning and decide that I was going to write about love, my first poem, it would be about you.
And after all of that, she was like,
but how do you feel about me?
And I said, let's put it like this. I want to be your ex-boyfriend's stuntman.
I want to do everything that he never had the courage to do, like trust you.
See, last night I had a dream. And in this particular dream, I died in my dreams. I woke not knowing I was still sleeping and decided to walk. You see, that night I walked in my sleep. I slept in my walk. I walked backwards until I saw you for the first time. And I could barely muster the courage to introduce myself all over again.
You see, I've been trying to find the right words. I've been trying to do the right things for what seems to me like thousands of years. But something always seems to go wrong between us.
We lived in Egypt. I was a Pharaoh's slave, you were his daughter. Loving you led to my death. They claimed that I seduced you, and after they stole my life, I was resurrected as a mason.
I made the foundation for your house. We met eyes for 2 seconds. You left, and I didn't see you again until I died.
I came back as a caterpillar. I turned into a butterfly. I landed in the palm of your hand. You brushed me away, and the rejection killed me.
When I awoke, I was a kick drum, you were a snare. We were both owned by this drummer named Cozy Cole, and when he died, so did we. But I came back just to look for you.
I left notes in random places, hoping that you would stumble across them. I carved our names in trees and then prayed that it would jog your memory. I whispered your name in the wind, hoping somehow, maybe some way, my voice would reach you, but it didn't, and I died. I died early.
I died young with breadcrumbs in my hand, just hoping that you would find me, but you never did, so they buried me. And when they buried me, they put these coins over my eyes, and I used them as a bus fare to get back to Earth, just so I could look for you.
That's why sometimes when we hold hands, ever so often, I tend to hold on a little too tight, and I'm sorry. I just don't want to lose you again.
My
mother told me,
when you find the perfect woman, you gotta do whatever it takes to make sure she stays next to you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dyuti, Khushi, Grishma, and Dhyana.
The only way to mend a broken heart is from the pieces of another one. कुछ चीज़ों की कीमत उनके टूटने के बाद बढ़ जाती है. After all, what good is a love that you aren't afraid to lose? I would like to call Hiya Vadodarya to present Broken but Beautiful, written by Priya Malik.
आसमान में चमकते हुए सितारे तो हम रोज देखते हैं, लेकिन सिर्फ किसी टूटते हुए तारे को देख आंखें मूंदे हम सपने सेकते हैं. कुछ चीजों की कीमत उनके टूटने के बाद बढ़ जाती है, जैसे कि दिल, रिश्ते और इन रिश्तों में उलझे हुए लोगों के टूटे फूटे से दिल. In Japan, there is the art of kintsugi, where broken ceramics are put back together again. Their cracks are filled with gold cement to remind you, remind me, and all of us that broken can be beautiful again. To remind us that memories may fade, but don't be afraid to remember. To remind us the importance of being and staying glued in this together. To teach us that our past history is what actually helps us reset. To remind us that even though the heart moves on, does it really forget? मैं नहीं जानती कि टूटे हुए टुकड़ों को कौन जोड़ता है, लेकिन इतना जरूर जानती हूँ कि ठंड से ठिठुरता वो आदमी आज भी फटी हुई चादर क्यों ओढ़ता है, क्योंकि वो चादर आज भी उसको अपनी याद दिलाती है. वो चादर आज भी खुद को खुद से मिलाती है. किंटसुगी में जब टूटे हुए टुकड़ों को जोड़ा जाता है, उन्हें वक्त दिया जाता है, गोंद को सांस लेने का, कारीगर को टुकड़े बांटने का. दो टूटे हुए लोग भी तो ऐसे ही चलते हैं, सांस लेते हुए, सांस देते हुए, पहले जुदा लेकिन फिर साथ भी तो चलते हैं. साथ चलते तो है, लेकिन इस डर से कि वो फिर से अलग ना हो जाए. The fear of having to hear or say yet another goodbye. The fear of loving way too much or maybe just too little. The fear of knowing that the hopes and dreams are just way too brittle. लेकिन वो प्यार भी क्या जिसे खोने का डर ना हो, वो मुसाफिर भी क्या जिसका सच में कोई घर ना हो. आज अगर सफर पर अकेले चल रहे हो तो एक ठंडी सांस तो अंदर खींचो. आज अगर टूटे हुए हो तो कल शिद्दत से बिखरना भी तो सीखो, क्योंकि मजनू ने भी तो लैला के साथ ओढ़ा था कफन. सीखो कि शाहजहां भी तो है मुमताज के साथ दफन. देखो कि इश्क मरने के बाद भी नहीं मरता, आशिकों का दिल कभी टूटने से नहीं डरता. So my dear listeners, इश्क की फटी हुई चादर को ओढ़ लो, सीधे रास्ते पर बहुत चल लिए, आज खुद के लिए एक मोड़ लो. एक दूसरे का हाथ थामो सफर के लिए, मंजिल के लिए नहीं. अपने हम सफर को उसकी अपनी राह चुनने दो. रास्ते अलग हो सकते हैं, लेकिन जज्बा रखो तो सही. क्या हुआ अगर टूट जाओगे किसी दिन, उठकर यही तो कहोगे ना, I did it all over again. So my dear listeners, repeat and repeat it with me, that you're broken and you're beautiful. And beautiful is strong enough to be broken again.
Thank you, Hiya.
Anxiety leads our mind to think more than needed. It's unpredictable, overpowering, and insidious. It makes you nervous, shivery, sweaty, and builds a fear inside your head that every action you do is wrong and is going to lead you to embarrassment. This hinders you from being comfortable around people and pushes your brain to run the perilous race of overthinking. Let's hear all about the experience of an anxious person in the poem Alice in Anxiety Land, written by Sani Raj and performed by Krisha Lunagaria and Smith Rupani, accompanied by Dhyana Butch on the guitar.
Amidst a pile of junk scattered in my brain, I wait patiently for the arrival of thought train. It's running late. It's 12 past noon. I have a group of people in front of me. It better come soon.
You see, parties are especially taxing because just being there isn't enough. You have to dance and smile and scream to loud music on topics ranging from politics, science, and all that stuff. It specifically makes me nervous when a GK question is thrown my way. Wait, is India Gate in Delhi? Or is the one in Mumbai Gateway? I stutter, I mutter, I trip and I splutter. This clutter in my head refuses to clean up. I'm sure they think I'm an introvert. Or an extrovert. Or an extroverted introvert. Or an introverted. Wait, what?
I dive into my phone and pretend to take an urgent call. Everyone is noticing me. I was not prepared for this at all. My hand started to perspire. I hate parties. Hide I must, cause hiding away is my only desire.
Whoa, that was a bit too much. Only you calm down. Only you think you're the talk of the town.
Okay. You see, that's the curse of being an anxious person. You go up and down spiraling without a particular reason. There are 10 people on this shoulder, 10 on this, telling you that everything is going to go wrong. And all you are left with is your life's dreadful theme song. You're going to die alone, you're lonely AF, you're broke, you're shook, you're a horrible crook, you're going to die alone, you're far away from home, from your mom and your cat. You're through and through, you cry and you're going to get fat.
Anxiety. A mental health disorder sending constant signals of fear down your spine. Hey, remember that day when you created a scene after drinking way too much red wine? I do. So why don't you think about it endlessly and feel unnecessary pain? Here, I'll send overthinking waves to your brain. Hey, what if this giant light falls on your head and you bleed out, but you're not dead? What if your zip loosens up and you have a malfunction? Well, that'll be one way to get some attention. What if you're talking to your crush and you accidentally spit on his face? You run and run and run, but never win the race.
Age 7. You tried holding in a fart, but couldn't. Age 9. You told on your best friend when you shouldn't. Age 14. Someone called you obese. Age 18, you opted kurtis over tees. Age 20, you hated your face more than ever. And age 26, if he goes, he'll be gone forever.
Hey, are you okay?
No, for you, it's just another day. And that's because you're not compelled to think. Sleep hasn't left your eyes without a wing. Fright, nausea, and irritability aren't your best friends, and hashtag panic attacks have stopped being just trends.
This thing is real, inside one's head, hugging one warmly until one goes to bed. But all you care about is to mock me.
Wait, what exactly is separation anxiety?
high levels of anxiety after separation from a person or place that provides feelings of safety or security.
I think I might have that.
Really?
Maybe. I don't know. You think it gets better?
Maybe. With time, patience, and therapy. Talking to a friend who's ready to listen to your rants and sudden bouts with no judgment and zero doubts. With deep breaths and in some cases medicines. With kind words and kinder intentions, one can overcome anxiety.
For you see, we are all made differently, with varied dreams and complex visions. We all can't be the same person. So a little empathy could go a long way. And the one in Mumbai is Gateway. You're going to be fine. It's just a matter of time. You're going to be fine. It's just a matter of time. You're sweet and kind with beautiful mind. You will get what's yours.
You're going to be fine. It's just a matter of time.
Thank you, Krisha, Smith, and Diana.
जहाँ हमें सुकून मिलता है, जो हमें हर मुसीबत से बचाता है और जिसने हमें सारे हाल में देखा है, जिसे ज़माने भर में ढूंढा था और जिसे मिलने से पाने तक हमने हमारा सब कुछ पा लिया, वो है घर। कृषा परसाना प्रस्तुत करेंगी प्रियांशी बंसल लिखित तुम घर हो मेरा।
तुम घर हो मेरा। जब एक लंबे दिन के बाद थक हार कर दुनिया से लड़कर तुम्हारे पास आती हूँ तो लगता है कि ज़िंदगी में सुकून बाकी है। फिर तुम धीरे धीरे ख्वाहिशों की खिड़की खोलते हो, प्यार से गले लगाते हो। दिन कैसा था, क्या हुआ, कैसा लग रहा है, दिल खुश है कि नाराज़? सारे सवाल और सब जवाब पूछने के बाद कहते हो कि सुनो, दुनिया में ऐसी कोई चीज़ नहीं जो तुम नहीं कर सकते। फिर हल्का सा मुस्कुराते हो और सहला कर सुलाते हो। तुम सुकून हो मेरा। तुम्हारी बातें किताबों में लिखी कहानियों सी लगती है, दिल पर मरहम सी लगती है, बीते कल के हल सी लगती है। वो आंखें आईने सी सच्ची है, तुम्हारी खिलखिलाती हुई हंसी मेरे दिल के आंगन में धूप लाती है। वो बाहें उस घर के सबसे पसंदीदा कोने की तरह है। वहाँ इतना सुकून मिलता है कि मानो बिना दिन ही नहीं गुजरता। तुम हिम्मत और हौसला हो मेरा। तुमने मुझे टूटते बिखरते देखा है, सच्चे अच्छे हाल और बेहद बेहाल देखा है, पर कभी भी बिखरने नहीं दिया। तुम जुनून हो मेरा। मेरे ख्वाब तुम्हारे ख्वाब, हमारे ख्वाब, कितने सारे ख्वाब हैं जो पूरे करने हैं, पर सब तुम्हारे साथ। तुम मोहब्बत और मकसद हो मेरा। तुम्हें मिलने से तुमको पाने तक मैंने मेरा सब कुछ पा लिया, जिसे ज़माने भर में ज़माने के साथ ढूंढा था, अंधेरों और उजालों में ढूंढा था। वो घर हो मेरा। तुम घर हो मेरा। तुम घर हो मेरा।
Thank you, Krisha.
Being a single parent is not life full of struggles, but a journey for the strong. We generally live in the world where being a single mother is a shame. Criticism and prejudice ride the wave of societal judgment, overlooking the steely determination, strength, and purpose behind it all. Her child. Margi Pipalya will emphasize a mother's strength with a self-composed poem, Single Mother.
माँ कौन होती है, कैसे होती है? क्या वो वही है जो हर कदम अपना सर झुकाए चलती है, जो हर कदम दुनिया की गाली सुनती है, जो हर कदम अपने आप को कमज़ोर समझती है? क्या वही है माँ जो हर कदम अपने आंसू छुपाती है? क्या वो सच में कमज़ोर होती है
क्या वो हर कदम सहारा ढूंढती है? क्या वो एक मर्द के बिना टूट जाती है? आखिर क्यों? आखिर क्यों रोती हो तुम माँ? दुनिया की सारी शक्ति है तुम में समाई, फिर क्यों है तुमने दुख की पेटी कमाई? क्यों कोई उसे नहीं बताता कि जिसने मुझे 9 महीने अपनी कोख में पाला वो एक मर्द नहीं कर सकता? क्यों कोई उसे नहीं बताता कि अपना घर और परिवार छोड़ वो एक मर्द किसी और के घर नहीं रह सकता? क्यों कोई उसे नहीं बताता कि अपना घर और सरनेम छोड़ वो एक मर्द किसी और के घर नहीं रह सकता? क्यों कोई उसे नहीं बताता कि घर की रौनक तुमसे बढ़कर वो एक मर्द नहीं ला सकता? पर ये कोई उसे नहीं बताएगा, ये कोई उसे नहीं बताएगा, क्योंकि हर इंसान इसे नीचा दिखाने में तुला है। कभी वो आंटिया कर बोल जाती है आ तो जो शर्म वगैरह नहीं के वर्ते गाम में फरे छे, जाने काई थયું જ નથી बेचारा छोकरा। तो कभी दूसरी आके बोल जाती है अरे अरे आ શું પહેર્યું છે તે? પાવર તો જોવાનો, સફેદ સાડી સિવાય બધાય કલરના નવા નવા કપડા પહેર્યા છે। ખબર નહીં શું થાય છે આજકાલના લોકોને। પણ આ બધા આંટીઝને કોણ કહેશે કે સફેદ મનની શાંતિ અને પીસનો રંગ છે, જે ખાલી પહેરવાથી નહીં પણ લોકોથી બી મળી શકે છે। न जाने क्या सोचकर उसे पागल कहा था, न जाने क्या सोचकर उसे पागल कहा था। पागल तो हम हैं जिसने उसे बताया कि एक मर्द ही जिंदगी चला सकता है, एक मर्द ही जिंदगी सुधार सकता है। सोसाइटी ने तो उसे नहीं छोड़ा, तो आखिर मैं कैसे छोड़ देती जिसने मेरी और अपनी जिंदगी सुधारनी चाहिए? पर मैं कैसे उसे बताऊं कि तुम मेरी जिंदगी की लाइट बल्ब हो जो अंधेरे में भी रोशनी कर जाती है? मैं कैसे उसे बताऊं कि तुम्हें अब रोबोट नहीं बनना पड़ेगा? मैं कैसे उसे बताऊं कि तुम मेरे उसी पुराने टेडी बेयर जैसी हो जिसे मैं हर रात अपने साथ रख सोई? भले ही अगर मैं तुम्हारी आंखों का तारा हूं, पर तुम मेरी उसमें छुपी एक चमक हो। क्या हो गया अगर उस पेड़ का हिस्सा उसने उस दिन काट दिया था? आज वही हिस्सा फिर से तुम में खिल के बाहर निकला है। पर फिर भी मैं कैसे उसे बताऊं कि तुम्हारा प्यार ने आज मुझे आने का मौका दिया है? हाँ, समझती हूँ कि थोड़ी तकलीफ होती है, समझती हूँ कि थोड़े आंसू निकल आते हैं, समझती हूँ मैं तुम्हारे मन को। कभी आंसू आए तो गिरने दो, कभी कुछ बोलना हो तो बोल दो, कभी कुछ ना करना हो तो छोड़ दो, और कभी गुस्सा आए तो निकाल दो। मैं हूं ना, जिस तरह तुमने ठीक किया उसी तरह मैं भी करूंगी। आखिर तुम ही तो हो मेरा सहारा, आखिर तुम ही तो हो मेरी शक्ति, आखिर तुम ही तो हो मेरी साथी, आखिर तुम ही तो हो जिसे मैं प्यार से होम कहती हूँ। अभी तो पूरी जिंदगी अनदेखी है, अभी तो पूरी जिंदगी अनदेखी है, क्या तुम देखोगी मेरे साथ? अभी पूरी दुनिया घूमनी बाकी है, क्या तुम घूमोगी मेरे साथ? अभी सारे रास्ते हाथ पकड़ चलना बाकी है, क्या तुम चलोगी मेरे साथ?
थैंक यू मार्गी।
अब माने या ना माने, पर आज भी इस देश में स्त्री और पुरुष के बीच में भेदभाव होता है। समाज महिलाओं को उनके हर एक काम के लिए आंकता है, चाहे वह किसी पार्टी के लिए बाहर जाना हो, शादी के बाद नौकरी करनी हो या खाना पकाने का कौशल हो। महिलाओं को हर कदम पर अपने आसपास के लोगों की राय सुननी पड़ती है। ओ स्त्री चल दबंग हो जा, सोनाक्षी सिन्हा द्वारा रचित ऐसी कविता है जो महिला सशक्तिकरण पर आधारित है। मैं इस अद्भुत कविता को सुनाने के लिए मीरा हुम्बल को आमंत्रित करती हूँ।
सेम डिग्री सेम पोजीशन पर लड़के का ज्यादा वेज है। मैं पूछूं तो कहते कैजुअली तुम्हारे तो कुछ और है रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज के स्टेज है। शादी बच्चे किसमें वो बताते मुझको एज है। फ्रीडम का आसमान दिखाकर डाला जेंडर वाला केज है। वो एग्जिस्टेंस तेरी फेड करे जब तू रेनबो वाला रंग हो जा। ओ स्त्री चल दबंग हो जा। सिंगल हूं तो आंटी जी को क्यों चिंता होती है? सिंगल लड़की को सोसाइटी घर ना दे तो वही सोसाइटी आराम से सोती है। बस एक इंस्टा स्टोरी एफबी से मेरा रिलेशनशिप जज हो जाता है और ऐसे ही मुझे अवेलेबल मानकर इनका हल्की से हाथ टच हो जाता है। जज्ड बातों को तू भूल, अपने जज्बातों के संग हो जा। ओ स्त्री चल दबंग हो जा। पता है थोड़ी पतली होती तो और ज़्यादा सुंदर लगती। हाँ बस ऐसे ही, थोड़ी गोरी होती तो ये साड़ी कितनी सजती। सुनो आंटी जी, बंद करो ये सुंदरता की भक्ति। क्या है ना, आपकी उम्र में भी ये बातें नहीं जचती। बेढंग की बॉडी शेमिंग मत सुन, तू बिंदास बेढंग हो जा। ओ स्त्री चल दबंग हो जा। इतना ज़्यादा कमाती है, हस्बैंड को नौकर बनाएगी। लड़की एम्बिशियस है भैया, रोटी कहाँ खिलाएगी। शी इज़ टू ओपिनियनेटेड, पावर का गुरूर है। ऐसी बातों से पाला अपना हर दिन ज़रूर पड़ता है। वो खींचे तुझको नीचे, तू और एक ऊंची पतंग हो जा। ओ स्त्री चल दबंग हो जा। मैं शादी के बाद आपको जॉब अलाउ करूँगा, मतलब एमबीए तेरी एक तरफ होगा वही जो मैं कहूँगा। मैं किसी से भी मिल के आऊँ, मर्द हूँ, सवाल ना करना, पर तुम्हें मेल कॉलिग्स फ़ोन करें ये मैं नहीं सहूँगा। ऐसी टॉक्सिक मर्दांगी से लड़ने के लिए तू रोज़ नई सी एक जंग हो जा। ओ स्त्री चल दबंग हो जा। गुंडे सारे घूमे फ्री पर सजा मेरी स्कर्ट पाती है, और ना जाने यहाँ हर गुने के बाद एडवाइजरी मुझे ही क्यों मिल जाती है। तेरे मेरे घर से हुई इस डिस्क्रिमिनेशन की शुरुआत, अब तू भी आवाज़ उठा जब उठता उसका हाथ है। छू ना सके उसकी हिम्मत, तू जोर सा एक करंट हो जा। ओ स्त्री चल दबंग हो जा, चल दबंग हो जा।
थैंक यू मीरा।
It is known to be one of the darkest incidents India has ever experienced. The Jallianwala Bagh massacre is infamously known for the deaths of more than thousands of people, which left everyone devastated. It stands witness showing us to what extent Britain could go to suppress rebellion. Although this incident took place more than 100 years ago, it continues to horrify people even today. I invite Mitsukund to picturize the whole event and her experience as one of the victims of the massacre.
The gathering consisted of thousands. Leaders were in their presence as their voice, the voice of the people in Amritsar, unaware of the doom, waiting to strike. Indian lives were put on stake, men, women, young and old, hearts filled with ambitions, dreams and hopes, children who were yet to see the world, youngsters who were confident that they would change fate, and including people who didn't deserve this painful death. They were confident enough to make a leap of faith, selfless enough to let themselves tie with ropes, but they didn't know that the time had come to face the unexpected. The general arrived with his troops, aiming at helpless and unarmed people, dignifying his duty. His command was the call of death for them. People ran helter-skelter in circles, crippled by bullets, filled with cruelty and condemnation, malice. The shrieks overpowered the firing of bullets. They used uncountable pellets to shatter what India had. Ambitions, dreams, and hopes. Exits were blocked as people reached there in flocks, only to realize what their luck had done to them. Bullets crashed into their flesh, creating a deep gash. Crimson splattered on the ground. More than half died from the crowd. A well was well noticed by some, and without having other thoughts, they jumped right into it. A desperate mother wanting to save her children, an old man too scared to experience the pain, they too jumped right into it. Due to God's grace, a few managed to escape the net. With great struggles, they escaped from the clutches of a heartless regime, escaped an end they would have never imagined. Unimaginable, the impossible event became possible because the British thought that this gathering was a rebellion, paid no heed to the fact that it was peaceful and non-violent. The unnecessary Rowlatt Act had made the people's sufferings darker than black, the black that adorned the walls, riddled by bullets, alongside the splatter of blood, the shriekings, cries of pain, and then the silence. Baisakhi was supposed to be a celebration of well-being and happiness, but it showcased the deep aftermath of sadness. The walls still scream out the pain of the sufferers, holding thousands of stories of each person who died. What the massacre did to us was deeper than the wounds that the bullets ever made.
Thank you, Mitsu.
When love arrives is a piece that shows how one has no control over falling in love. The poem talks about how love comes and goes in different forms. Love appears, leaves, and reappears. I invite Kashvi Kakkar and Priyanshi Mehta to present this beautiful piece originally performed by Sarah K. and Phil K.
I knew exactly what love looked like. In 7th grade.
Even though I hadn't met love yet, if love had wandered into my homeroom, I would have recognized him at first glance. Love wore a hemp necklace.
I would have recognized her at first glance. Love wore a tight French braid.
Love played acoustic guitar and knew all my favorite Beatles songs.
Love wasn't afraid to ride the bus with me.
And I knew I just must be checking the wrong classroom.
Just must be searching the wrong hallway. She was there, I was sure of it.
If only I could find him.
But when love finally showed up, she had a bowl cut.
He wore the same clothes every day for a week.
Love hated the bus.
Love didn't know anything about the Beatles.
Instead, every time I tried to kiss Love,
our teeth got in the way. Love became the reason I lied to my parents.
I'm going to Ben's house.
Love had terrible rhythm on the dance floor, but made sure we never missed a slow song.
Love waited by the phone because she knew if her father picked up, that would be...
Hello? Hello?
Oh my God.
I guess they hung up.
And love grew.
Love stretched like a trampoline.
Love changed.
Love disappeared. Slowly, like baby teeth, losing parts of me I thought I needed.
Love vanished like an amateur magician. Everyone could see the trapdoor but me.
Like a flat tire, there were other places I had planned on going.
But my plans didn't matter.
Love stayed away for years. And when love finally reappeared, I barely recognized them.
Love smelled different now, had darker eyes.
A broader back. Love came with freckles I didn't recognize.
A new birthmark, a softer voice.
Now there were new sleeping patterns.
New favorite books.
Love had songs that reminded him of someone else.
Songs Love didn't like to listen to. So did I. But we found a park bench that fit us perfectly.
We found jokes that made us laugh.
And now, Love makes me fresh homemade chocolate chip cookies.
Even though Love will probably finish most of them for a midnight snack.
Love looks great in dresses, but still likes to wear her retainer.
Love is a terrible driver, but
a great navigator.
Love knows where she's going. It just might take her 2 hours longer than she planned.
Love is messier now.
Not as simple.
Love chews too loudly.
Love leaves the cap of the toothpaste.
Love uses smiley faces in her text messages.
And turns out, love shits.
But love also cries and will tell you you're beautiful.
And mean it.
Over and over again.
You're beautiful.
When you just wake up.
You're beautiful.
When you have just been crying.
You're beautiful.
When you don't want to hear it.
You're beautiful.
When you don't believe it.
You're beautiful.
When nobody else will tell you.
You're beautiful.
Love still thinks you are beautiful.
But love is not perfect and will sometimes forget when you need to hear it the most.
You are beautiful.
Do not forget that. Love is not who you're expecting. Love is not what you can predict.
Maybe love is in the New York City, already asleep. You are in California, India, Australia, wide awake. Maybe love is always in the wrong time zone.
Maybe love is not ready for you.
Maybe you are not ready for love. Maybe the next time you see love is 20 years after the divorce.
Love looks old now, but just as beautiful as you remember.
Maybe love is there only for a month.
Maybe love is there for every firework, every birthday party, every hospital visit.
Maybe love stays.
Maybe love can't.
Maybe
love shouldn't. Love arrives exactly when love is supposed to, and love leaves exactly when love must.
When love arrives, say, welcome. Make yourself comfortable.
If love leaves, ask her to leave the door open behind her.
Turn off the music. Listen to the quiet.
Whisper, thank you for stopping by.
A teen girl is in for a bumpy ride as she enters adolescence, unaware of the rush of emotions and challenges waiting ahead. As she plunges with her first giddy steps into teenage, her diary becomes her closest companion and personal memorandum. Krisha Kakkar and Pratna Khaitan present Teen Diaries, a self-composed piece which gives us a sneak peek into such log over the years.
A 13-year-old girl bounces through life like a limerick. Silly and playful, a nursery rhyme. Her world lights full of blissful unknowings. Before 13, I was a blank verse. But turning 13 was a wreck. Though innocence was the first to go.
14, sonnet. One line for every time I got catcalled, walking my dog. I waltz through life, foot by foot. My rhythm steady and iambic, until yet another meanie commented on my assonance. So I learned to stare back, hard into her gaze, daring it to cross me.
15,
the year of the gazelle.
An exotic bird full of beauty, love, and loss. Amidst the crowd, that one guy stood out for me. Although I was too timid to tell him. I needed to fall in love with my own voice because nobody would ever ask me to speak my theme.
16, lost in a film scene. Soaring cliques, squawking throats, and the hormones' moody push. What is more teen girl than wanting love so badly, but not getting it, so accepting the smallest crumb and calling herself full? What is more teen girl than scolding your dog for barking too much, or putting him in pink striped polos, thinking that he seems pretty? For what is more teen girl than having the ability to turn anything to a crop top?
At 17 and 18,
I had to finally grow up.
Hustling between career, friendships, adulting, and interests. What if I was never gonna thrive into the world? What if I got lost in the competition? What if I was crushed by the crowd? Oh, simple things, where have you gone? I'm getting old and I need something to rely on.
So tell me when you're gonna let me in. I'm getting tired and I need somewhere to begin. Oh dear diary, I'm 24 now. Settled in Ohio, living the life I could only dream. All those teenage years seem worth now. And I so wish I could tell the moody, impulsive younger me. 1. The world is trying to kill you, but you kill it back. 2.
You are the best thing in every room.
3. The best hairstyle is the one when you get out of bed, and the best brand of denims are the one that fit you. And 4. You are going to grow into a woman who is always, always enough.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pratna and Trisha.
School is an institution which strives to nourish the humane side of every student. The young buds seek to blossom on the tree of nurture, on the stems of morals and values inculcated by school. Yet, over time, school has become an industry that manufactures people to fit into preset specifications, in line with preconceived roles and requirements. But no more. Lawyers Misty and Krisha seek permission to approach the bench and address the honorable court in the matter of the education system on behalf of students. They present to you a piece by Prince E.A.
Albert Einstein once said, "Everybody is a genius, but if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it is stupid." Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, today on trial we have modern day schooling. Glad you could come.
Not only does he make fish climb trees, but also makes them climb down and do a 10-mile run.
Tell me, school, are you proud of the things you've done? Turning millions of people into robots, do you find that fun? Do you realize how many kids relate to that fish swimming upstream in class, never finding their gifts, thinking they're stupid, believing they're useless? But the time has come, no more excuses.
We call school to the stand and accuse him of killing creativity, individuality, and being intellectually abusive. He's an ancient institution that has outlived his usage. So, Your Honor, this concludes our opening statement, and if we may present the evidence of our case, we will prove it.
Exhibit A. Here's a modern day phone. Recognize it? Here's a phone from 150 years ago. Big difference, right? Stay with me. Here's a classroom of today, and here's a class we used 150 years ago. Now, isn't that a shame that it'll take more than a century?
Nothing has changed. Yet, you claim to prepare students for the future. But with evidence like that, I must ask, do you prepare students for the future or the past? We did a background check on you. Let the record show that you were made to train people to work in factories, which explains why you put students in straight rows, nice and neat, tell them to sit still, raise their hand if they want to speak, give them a short break to eat, and for 8 hours a day, tell them what to think. Oh, and make them compete to get an A.
I get it. Back then, times were different. We all have a past. I myself am no Gandhi. But today, we don't need to make robot zombies. The world has progressed, and now we need people who think creatively,
innovatively,
critically,
independently,
with the ability to connect. See, every scientist will tell you that no two brains are the same, and every parent with 2 or more children will confirm that claim. So please explain why you treat students like cookie-cutter frames or snapback hats, giving them this one-size-fits-all crap.
Sorry, but if a doctor prescribed the exact same medicine to all of his patients, the results would be tragic. So many people would get sick. Yet, when it comes to school, this is exactly what happens. This educational malpractice where one teacher stands in front of 20 kids, each one having
different strains,
different needs,
different gifts,
different dreams,
and yet you teach the same thing the same way?
That's horrific. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, the defendant should not be acquitted. This may be one of the worst criminal offenses ever to be committed.
And let's mention the way you treat your employees.
It's a shame. I mean, teachers have the most important job on the planet, yet they're underpaid. No wonder so many students are short-changed. Let's be honest, teachers should earn just as much as doctors, because a doctor can do a heart surgery and save the life of a kid. But a great teacher can reach the heart of that kid and allow him to truly live.
See, teachers are heroes that often get blamed, but they are not the problem. They work in a system without much options on their rights. Curriculums are created by policymakers, most of which have never taught a day in their life. Just obsessed with standardized tests, they think bubbling in a multiple choice question will determine success.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, if we continue down this road, the results will be lethal.
We don't have much faith in school, but we do have faith in people. And if we can customize healthcare, cars, and Facebook pages, then it is our duty to do the same for education, to upgrade and change and do away with school spirit, because that's useless, unless we are working to bring the spirit out of each and every student.
That should be our task. No more Common Core. Instead, let's reach the core of every heart in every class. Sure, math is important, but no more than art or dance. Let's give every gift equal chance. There's no single solution. But let's get moving, because while students may be 20% of our population, they are 100% of our future.
So let's attend to their dreams, and there's no telling what we can achieve.
This is a world in which we believe. A world where fish are no longer forced to climb trees. We rest our case.
Thank you, Misty and Krisha.
Our next performer will present What Teachers Make by Taylor Malley. This poem, originally performed in 2002, has since become an iconic tribute to the essential work of teachers. Through his stirring words, Malley challenges the notion that teaching is an underpaid and undervalued profession, and instead celebrates the dedication and passion that teachers bring to their classrooms every day. I invite Parshva Doshi to perform the piece, What Teachers Make.
He says, the problem with teachers is what's a kid gonna learn from someone that decided that his best option in life was to become a teacher. I'm sorry. He reminds the other dinner guests that it's true what they say about teachers, that those who can do and those who can't teach. I decide to bite my tongue instead of his and restrain the urge to remind the other dinner guests that it's also true what they say about lawyers. Because this is polite conversation as we are having dinner after all. I mean, you're a teacher, Parshva, be honest. What do you make? And I wish he hadn't done that. Asked me to be honest. Because you see, I have this policy when it comes to honesty and hard hitting, which is that if you ask for it, I have to let you have it. You want to know what I make? I make kids work harder than they ever thought they could. I make a C+ feel like a Congressional Medal of Honor and an A- feel like a slap in the face. How dare you insult me? How dare you waste my time with anything less than your very best? You want to know what I make? I make kids sit through 40 minutes of study hall in absolute silence. No, you may not work in groups. No, you may not ask questions, so please put your hands down. Why won't I let you go to the washroom? Because you're bored and you don't actually have to go to the bathroom now, do you? You want to know what I make? I make parents tremble in fear when I call them at around dinner time. Hello? This is Mr. Doshi. I hope I haven't called at a bad time. No, I just wanted to talk to you about something that your son said today. To the greatest bully in his grade, he said, "Leave the kid alone." I still cry sometimes. Don't you? It's all right. And that was the noblest act of courage I have ever seen. I make parents see their kids for who they are and what they can be. You want to know what I make? I make kids wonder. I make them question. I make them criticize, and I make them apologize and mean it. I make them read. I make them write, and I make them spell definitely beautiful, definitely beautiful, definitely beautiful over and over again, until they never misspell either of those words ever again. I make them show all of their working in maths and hide all of it in their final drafts in English. I make them understand that if you've got this, and then you follow this, and then if somebody judges you on what you make, you give them this. So here, let me break it down for you, so that you know what I say is true. I make a goddamn difference. Now what about you? Thank you.
Thank you, Parshva.
Paul Engel has beautifully said, "Poetry is ordinary language raised to the nth power. It is the bond with ideas, nerved and blooded with emotions, all held together by delicate, tough skin of words." This poetry night was our attempt to do justice to this. We come back, we have enjoyed a roller coaster ride of emotions, lived many lives, and come back to our own, enriched and elated. We express a heartfelt gratitude to TGES Sound and Lighting team, the volunteers and the teachers for believing in us and giving us their untiring support. Please give them a huge round of applause.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा जय जय